I'm over it. I'm over it. What was declaring? I'm pretty over it tonight. Tonight, I am starting out the show over it. Ugh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet Scum. Welcome to the George Lucas Talk Show. This is, who here has ever been to a live TV show taping before? Great. Who here has ever been to the George Lucas Talk Show before? Great. What are we going to do when something very funny happens? Let me hear you all type out LOL. Great. Now, what do you do when something very exciting happens? Let me see you all type out yay. Great. Now, what happens when something very emotionally confusing happens? I have no prompt. I leave that to you to figure out how you would respond in that situation. It's a pastrami show. I'm starting right off the bat with the pastrami, okay? Listen, it's the George Lucas Talk Show. It's a talk show hosted by George Lucas, creator of the most successful joke of all time. If you're watching this for the first time this week, I really don't know how I could prepare you. Someone joined in the last 30 minutes of our 4-hour stream last week, and somehow they got the gist. So you'll catch on. Watto forgot to take his anti-anxiety medication last night, so he's in a fucking pastrami mode, baby. I'm coping. I'm doing what I need to survive. Let's see what the hashtags are this week. Okay. Hashtag American Daly. That's not even sweaty. That's like flop sweaty. American Daly. Our guest is Andy Daly. And so that's the way that we've retrofitted his name into American graffiti. I don't like that. That almost made me vomit. The Forrest McMoon of Endor. That's better. Forrest McNeil, the character Andy Daly played on Review, one of the funniest shows of the last 10 years. But McMoon, I don't... Oh, Forrest Moon. Okay, fine. Yes, I give that a gentleman's 6. Hashtag Kingdom of the Christine Nangle. Sure, why not? Yes. Hashtag Guvian Death Nangang. I like that. Hashtag Druthers Brothers. Yeah, because fucking Patrick's got his druthers. And hashtag Patatouille Kablooey. I don't know. I don't know about this precedent of Patrick trying to work his own bits into the hashtags. I feel like he's letting this stardom go to his head. He's trying to take over the show. So I guess the last thing I need to say to prep the audience is, let's really cut Patrick down to size this week. Let's put him in his place. We've been letting him off way too easy. It's time to take out the knife. Okay, let's start the show.
Lucas.
Hello, I'm George Lucas, creator of Star Wars, and also creator of Strange Magic, which has once again returned to Disney Plus. Hopefully forever. Hopefully they'll keep it in the library of content forever. But for those of you who subscribe to the Disney Plus streaming service, you can now not only enjoy the Star Wars saga, but the Strange Magic saga, which is, that's great news if you're a girl or if you have girls that you know that you want to show something to. You say, hey, watch Strange Magic. It's for you. Watto, it's so nice to see you. Watto, are you there? Watto?
I'm here. I don't know why they were not bringing me to the stage. I think maybe they're giving me the Richard Pryor 5-second time delay this week.
Oh, because
Bryson's got his finger on the button. They think I'm over it. I'm a loose cannon.
Well, that is true. You've always been a loose cannon, Watto, but that's part of your charm.
That's a cannon. Boom.
Yeah.
That's the sound of a cannon.
There's no tightening you. You're that loose a cannon.
Can I do my introduction for myself?
Absolutely.
Because the timing was off. So pretend that you just said everything that you just said, and now I'm about to say what I say.
All right, I'm pretending it.
And I'm Watto, the Flying Space Jew.
Perfect. That'll be a seamless cut.
We'll fix that later.
Edit that right in.
And if I can list my credits the way you listed your credits, sidekick / announcer / associate producer of Bosch, the Amazon original series Bosch. I haven't talked about Bosch in a while.
You haven't, and I want you to know that you can speak freely about anything you want to say or promote on this show. We have the time.
It doesn't need more attention than I just gave it. That's the full attention it
Are there new seasons? Are there going to be new seasons of Bosch?
Yeah, probably like 5 more seasons or some shit.
Right. So enough
Seemingly
people.
The only show that can't get canceled on Amazon.
So enough people. What that means is enough people are buying Prime memberships, and then the first thing that they click is Bosch. That's how a show survives on Amazon. Is you subscribe, you join Prime as a Prime member, and they look at what is the first show that you go to watch, and if it's Bosch, that helps Bosch. But then it doesn't matter what the second or third or 100th show is. All they care about is that first click after a Prime membership is purchased.
It's a great thing that people don't know. I feel like that Amazon's only metric is what you just described, which is cost per first stream. How much does it cost to make the show and advertise it versus how many people chose it as the first thing they ever watched? And the way they decide on renewals is if you have 99% viewer retention.
Why are we talking about this?
Hey, shut up. Hold on.
This is the one show that we can do this. Go back out, Patrick. Come back in when we're done.
Go back out. You're coming in way too hot. Jeez,
this is the only. No other talk show has a format flexible enough that the two hosts can discuss something serious, such as one of the biggest companies in the world, and the fact that they have an absolutely insane way of judging the success of their own original content.
99% viewer retention from season. If you go less than 99% retention from season to season, then you're canceled. But also, the first season is always going to be the biggest season because people, if the second season comes out and they want to watch it, they have to watch the first season first. Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like the system doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's the reason that more people have seen The Phantom Menace than any other Star Wars movie because it's the first one. It's the
People are just watching it for the first time today. Every day, a new Phantom Menace viewer is born.
They always go back. Patrick, get out of here. We're not done.
Patrick, way too hot. You said I was a loose cannon. These guy's like a fucking smoking rifle.
You look like the tightest. You look like the tightest rifle or the tightest cannon in the world compared to this guy. He comes in so loose.
I'm an airtight cannon.
Here's the thing. If you buy a Prime membership, and then you click some other show. Let's say you click Maisel. You click Maisel, and then you click Bosch, and then you spend every day for the rest of your life doing nothing but clicking Bosch. Amazon doesn't care how many times you click Bosch. They just care about that first click.
They care about the first one. But I believe, if I remember correctly, as the person who puts together a lot of the bridge financing on Bosch, and then in return is given an associate producer credit, I believe Bosch was given like a 3-season renewal all at once, right before the current head of Amazon Studios took over. So it's like uncancelable. And she canceled everything else, and she's like, fuck, I just got more posh.
You guys have... Hang on.
Steady?
You have guests. We got to bring in the guests.
Yeah, why no? You think I don't know that?
Patrick, we'll bring in the guests. Don't worry. We're talking about how CCB. You ever hear of CCB?
No.
Can't cancel Bosch.
Okay, Patrick, I want you to understand something, okay? You're sitting back there with your druthers. You feel like you're untouchable. But the fact of the matter is, we would have literally brought the guests on half an hour ago if you weren't coming in so hot. We're stalling for you because you need to take a chill pill.
Now, I noticed, Patrick.
If I leave, will you bring the guests in?
We're going to bring the guests in a second. First of all, I have to say something. Tonight, Watto has already announced that we're going to cut you down to size tonight.
We got to cut you down to size tonight.
I do also want to say, because I can't help but notice that you purchased something over the past 7 days.
Yeah.
I think right behind you, that Strange Magic poster. You got that this week.
Yeah, George, I got it this week to pay tribute to it being on Disney Plus.
Right.
It's a British movie poster.
It's a quad format poster.
I was going to say the same thing, a quad format poster.
I love you, Watto.
I love you, George. You're such a good friend.
See, that's the kind of dialogue. That's what you say when someone says, I love you. You don't say, I know. You say, I love you, too. All right, let's bring in the guest, Patrick. That's enough of your nonsense, Patrick. Let's bring in the guest. This is a talk show.
Leave for a second so I can bring in the guest.
And you come back in with them.
Yeah, we got such a great show today. We got two incredible guests. For my money, two of the funniest people around. Two of the funniest people working today. Luminaries of comedy television.
Giants.
Would you agree?
I agree. They're giants of comedy.
And the credits, too numerous to name, but let's just say.
Yes.
From the Andy Daly Podcast Project and Review, with Forrest McNeil, Andy Daly.
Hello.
And from the President's Show, Inside Amy Schumer and The Simpsons, Christine Nangle.
Welcome to the show. I'm so excited. And here's our producer, excited. Patrick, is joining us. This is Patrick. He's wearing a shirt that says Druthers because he always gets his druthers. And
apologies in advance.
We're so excited. I think we're going to laugh a lot tonight, but we're also going to learn a lot about how comedy works, I think, because if anyone knows how comedy works, it's the panel of guests we have tonight.
I agree.
Yeah. Feel free to treat this episode like a masterclass. This is a malleable format. So, if you want to be funny, we'll take the jokes. I've taped my sides together in anticipation of them being split. But also, you could just take us to school tonight.
Hey, can you, I'm just curious to get any insight you might have as to what somebody like Steve Martin gets paid to do one of those masterclass things. Or Ron Howard.
My estimate, $45 million. That would be my guess.
Right. I know Ron did.
Conservative guess.
I know that Ron did quite well. I spoke to him after he did that, and all he wanted to talk about was the money. And I said, Ron, for you that might be a lot, but this is boring to me. But I think it was what Ron considered a lot of money.
And
he's got that Da Vinci dough,
Sure.
I actually have an answer.
Oh, great.
So from 2017, the company's deals say instructors make $100,000 up front, and then 30% of the revenue their classes generate.
30 first dollar or profits?
Right.
Well, if you sign up for masterclass, the first class you click on, that's how they decide which is the most popular class and which class they'll give a second season to.
For first stream, it's a really good system.
I asked, and I actually got an answer.
Has anyone gotten have any of the masterclass teachers gotten a second class, or are they all canceled after their first?
No one has been able to sustain a second class. Their retention is not there. The metrics, the numbers just don't add up. They would love to do a second class, and they see that there's so much passion and support. The numbers aren't there.
Yeah, it's just not cutting through the clutter.
People want a new master. They want something new.
Yes.
People say it's the golden age of master classes, but I say it's too much.
Yeah,
I think we're at peak masterclass personally.
Sure.
I'll also say I just reached out to someone who was in a video being taught by one of the masters, and they said they think they made around $600.
Wow.
That's so the students of the master class make more than a lot of actual teachers who work in public schools.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
So they pay a Padawan $600?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just.
No, I was just going to say it's what were you going to say, George?
I mean, to me, that's still a very small amount of money, but I understand that to a normal person, $600 means quite a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have to say that stuff in the beginning. You could just say that it's a lot of money for most people.
Right. It is. And to
What
me,
do you
it's
do
nothing.
with your what do you do with your money, George? Is that too personal a question? Because it's hard for me to imagine. Like, where would you put it? What would you do with it? I can't even conceive of it.
He loves talking about it.
Andy,
Yeah.
you live in LA, right? You live in LA.
Yeah.
Right now, if you want to, you could walk to a location and see where I'm putting a lot of my money.
Oh.
I'm building a museum in your town.
Really?
That looks like it's going to open in like a year or two. It's a giant museum. It looks like a spaceship, and it's
weird.
The Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. It's all about art that tells a story.
Wow.
Yeah, and
George, I do want to say every time you bring it up to someone who lives in LA and they don't know about it, I feel like that gets worse for you.
No, because it's not open yet. It's not open yet, but that's what it's going to look like, Andy.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It looks like
I know what
like
it
a
looks
remote
like.
control.
Well, that's a lot of people thought it looked like something else.
Like a vibrator or something?
Yeah, it does look. Yeah, it looks like.
It's sexual.
It's sexual. It's sensual. But
you had to deal with the constraints of the lot. You know.
That's the only shape that works.
Uh-huh.
And we tried to build this in Chicago. We tried to do it in San Francisco, but LA was the only place that. It does look kind of like it looks like the bottom of a sneaker or an insole. It kind of looks like something you'd put inside of a shoe to make it more comfortable on your foot.
Yeah,
so
that's nice.
So I put my money into that, and I put my money into education. If you listen to shows on NPR, a lot of times you wait to the end, you'll find out that I gave them a lot of money to help do the show.
I've never heard that. They're not saying it. I listen to NPR all the time. I hear a lot about Bill and Melinda Gates. They're always talking about Bill and Melinda Gates. I've never heard their name.
Yeah,
John T. MacArthur.
Yeah.
I'll say this: Bill's a rich guy. Now, Christine, what city are you in currently?
I'm in Los Angeles also.
You're in LA, and you haven't heard of the museum. There's not a lot of buzz about the museum.
No, not in the circles that I'm in, but that doesn't mean much.
What circles? This is fascinating. What circles are you in?
Oh gosh, a lot of them.
Concentric or overlapping?
There's so many of them that they all end up overlapping. Yeah, I think I know most everyone.
Wow.
I know someone that knows everyone, but in those circles, no one's heard of it. So,
I travel in mostly museum circles, and I haven't heard any talk about this museum.
George,
you know what? Let me frame the conversation differently. Here's a new line of questioning for the two of you. Christine, Andy, have either of you noticed a real shortage of Norman Rockwell paintings recently?
Well, what do you mean? You mean the actual paintings on canvas?
Yeah, like the originals.
I've never known where to look for those.
Like if we had one in our house and then it wasn't there, we mean shortage, like what happened to my painting?
Yeah.
Right. Or even just around. You used to walk around and you go, oh, there's a Rockwell. There's a Rockwell.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I don't. That's not personally my experience, but I'll stipulate that for argument's sake, okay, there's a lack of Norman Rockwell paintings.
Yeah, because they're all in the museum.
Yeah. Prior to this,
the world's largest collection.
You put them in the museum before the museum was done being built or built at all?
No, I haven't put them in yet. But they're locked and loaded. They're ready to go. Because me and my buddy Steve both collect Norman Rockwell paintings. We have two of the biggest collections of them. We made a book of Norman Rockwell paintings, and it's from our collection.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. And
Wow.
look at that. Look, Soldier Coming Home. You ever see that one?
Great.
Mhm.
Why is Patrick full screen?
Oh yeah,
See that?
Yeah.
They're all
I have
from our
seen that one.
collection.
That was
Yeah.
that was prominently displayed in the film Broadcast News.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Bobby. They're trying to get
Bobby,
the
Bobby.
they're trying to get the picture at the last minute, and they're
Yeah.
really rushing. And Joan Cusack is running, and she
Yes.
runs. Yeah, it's a great sequence.
He takes a slam in the pelvis from the mail cart. Who can forget?
It's so when I like stuff that goes fast. All my movies, I like to put in things that go fast. So when I was watching that movie, I thought this is going to be about relationships, about news, and then all of a sudden, Joan Cusack is running around like she's a race car. Love it. And she's crashing into stuff.
I have heard it said, George. Please tell me if this is true or false. I heard this from one of the actors, one of the original cast members of the film Star Wars.
This is a
That
blind item. You're not going to name who it is.
It's
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay if it's a blind item. That's very fun.
I want to protect this person. That
Okay.
the only note that you ever gave throughout
Yeah.
the entire production of the film, there were two notes: faster, more intense.
More intense.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes.
And
That's
yeah,
it.
it's true. And that's one of the things. There are a lot of people who are critical of my films, but very rarely do people say these are too slow and not intense enough.
No.
True.
Is that why your museum is shaped like a vibrator?
Yeah.
I mean,
That tells a story. That's a narrative vibrator. I like it.
Right. One of the fastest and most intense consumer products there is.
That's
Better
right.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending.
I want people running through the museum looking at these Rockwells, you know?
Yeah, Rockwell is it'll get you jazzed up.
Lot of museums have like marble floors, and George has very clearly stipulated racetrack.
Mhm.
It's racetrack everywhere. You put
That's right.
hurdles. You want to encourage people to approach this museum like a track and field meet.
Yeah. But the other thing I always like is for things to be funny. I always, in most of my films, I'll always put something in to make people laugh. So I'm very excited to talk to you two both, because it seems like if someone's going to try to make a show that is funny, that your names are on speed dial for people who want to make shows that are funny.
Not
Do you think
literally,
that's
but
fair?
yeah.
You think that's fair?
I would say I don't know that speed dial is a thing anymore, but
Dial's
might-
it's the best way to call. You call fast.
Well, what
Yeah.
is speed dial these days? I mean, like speed dial used to be just you press one button and you get the
Right.
person. It's still
Yeah.
now it's like that. You press
It's
their
only-
name and you get them.
Well,
They got rid of slow dial. That's the thing. It used to be
Midnight.
there was
Yeah.
speed dial, and they said let's just make it speed dial. So it
Yeah,
still
there
exists. We just don't call
there
it
are
that anymore.
favorites. There are favorites on your phone.
there you go.
Yeah.
Let's update it. There's
Okay,
no more.
yeah, I
you're on
got it.
speed dial. You're one
Yeah.
of my favorites. Yeah.
I got it.
Right.
Here's the more topical reference. If you want to make a funny show, you have Nangle and Daly in your top 8 on MySpace, right? That's the more
Yes.
like topical version of it. You got to
Even
have Nangle and Daly in your 8.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like even that could use a little updating.
Right. Well, I always think everything can use updating. I love to do it. Do you ever now, Andy? Do you ever look at work you've done and think you want to change it or fix it or add, like, do a special edition of anything, or are you someone who tends to be satisfied with what you've done?
I think that's a false choice. There are times when I'll look back at something that I've done and I won't be satisfied, but it would never occur to me to make a special edition out of it. You know,
Right.
I might just say, okay, that's not for me to watch.
Right.
Others might be able to enjoy it, but I can't enjoy it because I see all the things that I would like to do differently if I could do them differently today. But at no time would I ever think, let's get back in there on the film, let's say Yogi Bear. I was in the 3D movie Yogi Bear. I don't love my performance in that movie. I think I went a little too big.
Right.
And but at no point would I think, let me go back in and digitally kind of make my performance a little smaller.
Right.
Well, it wouldn't occur to me.
Clarify. Too big for Yogi.
Too big for Yogi.
I really do. I do.
Now, if I recall correctly, I believe that's one of the few things of yours that I did not see. And it was precisely because here you are.
That gives you an idea of how big I went right there in a still photo.
I have no notes for that performance. I
think that looks perfectly sized.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fast and intense.
Did he win? Did he win?
Let's spoil Yogi Bear right now because I haven't seen it. Do you win? Do you become the governor?
Let's find out if Andy doesn't remember.
No, I do remember. Okay. He does not become the governor. As a matter of fact, my character ends up in jail.
Whoa! Wow. Is your character running on an anti-yogi platform?
Basically.
Wow!
Now,
so Yogi wins and you lose.
Yeah, I mean Yogi's not the opponent, but yeah.
You're the heavy. You're the heavy of Yogi Bear.
That's correct. I was the bad guy. I was the Darth Sidious of Yogi Bear.
Right.
Good pull, my man.
Right. But you never attained a higher office, though. Your character, presumably, his story ends poorly.
Yeah. Although my character was going to be, he was written into the sequel, which never got made. But I did read the script for it, and it was fine. Just fine.
Just fine. And 3 stars.
Any spoilers? Yeah. Any spoilers?
Spoilers for the sequel.
What was your character doing in the sequel?
Yes.
My character was plotting revenge against Yogi and Boo Boo.
Not bad. Not bad. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And what kind of revenge? Did you get far enough in the script? Do you remember what kind of things did what was your character's first name? Mr. Brown?
Richard?
Richard Brown?
Mayor Brown. I read the whole script, but I do not remember what he did. I don't remember.
I do remember I saw the poster for Yogi Bear, the teaser poster, and that was the one where it was too sexually charged. It was the one where it was Yogi with Boo Boo's face, and the tagline was "Great things come in bears."
Yes, Yogi was standing directly behind Boo Boo, like fur to fur, and the tagline was "Great things come in bears."
Right, and I thought,
you got to pull up that image.
Yeah, we have to see that image.
I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, I think if you put Yogi Bear sexual,
I'm not going to do that, George.
What, you think that you're worried that will? Well, that's the fastest way to get it.
Yeah, I got
it. Great things come in bears. I'm very happy we got to the Yogi portion of our show early because I was worried we weren't going to have enough time to cover our 30 minutes of prepped Yogi questions we had. And Christine, you should know, feel free to jump in with any Yogi Bear 3D questions of your own.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is real.
This is real.
So in this, they're calling Boo Boo a great thing. Wait, no.
No, Yogi's a great thing. I mean,
Yogi's a great thing, and he's coming in a bear.
And this is actually this is the point of my museum, the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. This poster will be hanging in that museum because it tells a story.
Yeah,
story.
But we don't know. We don't know how they're going to finish, and so we don't.
Well, we know in a certain way we know he's going to finish. We don't know how, but
we don't know what point in the story. We don't know what point in the story we are observing. This could be near the beginning or near the end.
That was a real misfire. That poster.
Well, or maybe not. I don't know. You have to take a risk.
Yeah,
and I think that poster took a risk.
It took a risk, and I'll say Yogi doesn't misfire because he always comes in bears.
He's a great thing.
Christine, did you see the Yogi Bear 3D movie?
I didn't. I'm sorry, I didn't.
But you're familiar with. You've seen Yogi Bear cartoons. He likes a picnic basket and stuff.
Picnic basket. Yeah. There's a ranger.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the ranger. Oh, right. Yes, the ranger. Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Smith.
Ranger Smith. Right.
Ranger Smith.
Yeah. Ranger Smith. Right. They worked really hard on that one.
Right.
It was.
And it was a 3D movie. Am I correct in thinking that was the only 3D motion picture you've appeared in?
You're not correct. I was also in Transformers 3D. Yeah, and weirdly enough, it was shot with the same cameras. I learned it was just on the set of Transformers. Wow. One of the cameramen said, these cameras just came from Yogi Bear.
They didn't even wash them in between.
No. I thought you might want to see how that movie turns out before you use their cameras.
Right. I wish that Transformers had used that in their promotion. Shop with the same cameras that brought you Yogi Bear 3D. No one ever says that. No one ever says that because clearly that's not something people think about. We don't throw away the cameras when we're done making a movie. They get used to make other movies. And that's something that you never learn. No one ever talks about it.
Yeah, I think it's just as informative as when they put on the poster from the guys who brought you. Which
I love that when they say some guys brought you this movie. These guys from the dudes. I like it. I was like, it's really chill when they say from the dudes who brought you.
Because then you know that this movie's from men.
For men.
Yeah. Men are bringing it.
And also, you know, the men weren't working too hard on it. They have no airs about themselves. They're just some guys who brought you a thing. They're not from the people who made. They're some guys they brought.
They're not from the producers of.
Who brought this movie in here? Oh, just some guys. They brought it in and left it here.
No,
guys brought the movie in here.
The producers are my dad. I'm just some guy.
I do want to alert. I do want to alert because I think it's important that people go to IMDb and add this into the trivia section, both for Yogi Bear 3D and Transformers. That I want each of them to say these cameras went on to shoot the Transformers movie, and these movies just shot Yogi Bear when they shot Transformers.
I wanted to search, George. I wanted to search if anyone has used from the girls who brought you.
I think it'd be gals. Shouldn't it be gals?
Maybe. But Google gave me an answer.
Women from the women who brought you.
It looks like there aren't any great matches for your search.
Wow. Well, there's the problem right there.
Yeah.
That makes me think that Google might be some dude, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He just didn't feel like looking for it. I don't know if there's
From
any
the dudes who brought you Ask Jeeves comes Google.
I would say Google, feel free to show me some of the less great, like the matches don't have to be great.
Yeah. I don't need that. I don't need that from Google. Just like let me just show me the links, Google. I don't need your editorial.
I'll take whatever you have.
You're a Google search. You're not my friend.
Yeah.
Don't do me any favors, Google. Just look it up.
I'm with you.
Christine.
I wanted to mention to Christine, and I think you'll all be amazed and fascinated by this. I have 2 children. They are 8 and 13, and they decided, since we can't really go anywhere, leave the house, and we do have Disney Plus, though I've never heard of Strange Magic. Sorry. But they were going to watch every single episode of The Simpsons, and they started with season 30. They hopped over to Hulu for season 31.
Right.
They started with season 30 and they're working their way back, and now they're on season 9.
Wait, are they going backwards?
Then they'll get excited about The Simpsons instead of disappointed.
What'd you say, Christine?
I didn't say anything.
Oh.
She said nothing.
I said nothing.
0 things said, and nothing was saved.
That's right.
We know. That's awesome.
And I've been doing the same thing in quarantine, but the opposite direction. So, Christine, don't give me any spoilers for the remaining 18 seasons.
Okay.
I was hoping you were going to say, Andy, that they were starting with season 30, and then they'd go to the end, and then they'd go back and treat the first 29 seasons as prequels. Like, find out how did Ned come to be a widower? You know, and then you tell the story of it.
That is a great way to tell a story, to tell somebody the middle and then tell them the beginning and then tell them the middle again in a slightly different kind of iteration.
This is now here, Andy, I have you at a slight disadvantage because I know that you have hard opinions about my work.
Well, what do you mean?
You're not, you love some of it, but you're not crazy about all of it.
That's fair.
Right?
That's fair to say.
Yeah.
I am such a huge fan of the 1977 Star Wars film that I think nothing else comes anywhere near it. Sorry, Watto.
Right. Did you see the finished version? Because you have Disney Plus. I finally released it last year.
The finished version of what?
Star Wars.
Put that
New Hope,
on top.
episode 4. I would put McClunky in it. Have you seen it where they say McClunky? You know about this?
No, I don't know it. I don't know.
Okay, this is true, Andy. I added one last bit of dialogue to the movie. I said, that's it. Print it. We got a movie. That's a wrap on Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. And it premiered on Disney Plus in November of 2019. After decades of test screenings, I finally put out a finished movie. I'm glad you like the rough cut, but and what happens is in the scene where Greedo shoots at Han and then Han defends himself, Greedo now says McClunky right before he shoots.
And what is that in reference to?
It's saying like, I'm gonna kill you now, Han Solo.
Oh, that's
so
how
Han
in his
Solo
language
hears it. Yeah, Han hears it. Like, get ready to die, mister.
In Greedo language, the way to really threaten somebody that you're going to kill them is to say McClunky.
McClunky. Yeah.
Really quickly. To say it
McClunky.
really quickly, like you're trying to fit it in between two shots.
So McClunky, then fire, and then Han Solo's like, hold on a second. I'm going to get my gun as well, and I'm going to shoot you before you land a shot on me, Greedo.
Yes.
Shame on you.
Shame.
Yeah.
A real shame. I am in possession of a despecialized fan edit of the 1977 Star Wars, which is precisely as it appeared on the screens in 1977, to the point where it's not even called A New Hope in the opening credits.
Right.
It's just called Star Wars.
I hate to do this. I'm calling the police. I hate to do this, Andy, because I'm a fan, but the FBI now, flush it down the toilet, because the FBI now knows that you have illegal content in your home.
They're coming after Harmy. They're going to be knocking on his door.
Yeah, no, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for this day. I know it's coming.
Yeah, that's something that some criminals put together. Some scoundrels put that together, and you like it.
Right.
Well, you know, a lot of people love heroin. It's also illegal for good reason, because it's bad stuff. Might feel good to watch the despecialized edition, but it is against the law.
Okay.
Christine,
don't your movies kind of like glorify bootleggers and kind of paint them as like the good guys and the revolutionaries that society kind of needs against these big evil corporate forces?
I'm the Han Solo of this story.
He's the Han Solo of this story.
He's the Han Solo of this story, George.
Yeah. His son runs him through with a lightsaber, all right?
Not the great.
I would hide all. You have 2 children. Hide all your lightsabers, Andy.
Yeah. Well, look.
You're a double threat.
Yeah. Han Solo is obviously a terrible father, but an exciting smuggler. And I'm saying that as the guy who's letting his children watch every single episode of The Simpsons.
Andy, I have a question for you. Is it uncomfortable driving? Like, is that an issue for you?
Is it uncomfortable driving?
Well, I assume your car is just like the chassis. You just drive a chassis without any proper finishing, because you like unfinished things.
I see.
You're just driving a chassis around on the street, watching unfinished movies.
No.
I don't think he does that.
Yeah, I don't do that.
I think he does.
I think I did ask them to finish my car.
What?
But
Christine, what? Just so we're being fair here, Christine, do you own any bootleg films? Any illegal movies? Things that it's a thrill to have, but that are not supposed to belong to anyone?
I probably don't.
You probably don't. So where do you get your movies, Christine, when you're watching something?
I feel like I'm being trapped.
No. If anything, you're coming out looking great next to this criminal who steals art. An art thief.
If it's a trap, Akbar will let you know. You are not at risk yet.
I get my movies from the Writers Guild when they send you everything from the Television Academy and my TV. I don't know.
Do you share them with people? Do you send them to relatives?
I do.
All right, here we go. You're a smuggler.
Yes, I am.
They specifically say don't do that, right? What's that on your wall there? What am I seeing on the wall behind you, Christine?
That.
Murder, She Wrote.
It's a Murder, She Wrote mouse pad.
Where'd you get that from? Did you get that from? Oh, from Etsy. So where's the copyright on that? Or is that
Who owns that image?
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a fan-produced mouse pad.
Yes.
Do you use that? Do you put your mouse up on the wall when you're operating with your desktop, or you've repurposed it as art?
I put it up specifically for this to make me look interesting and quirky.
I
use it.
Angela Lansbury's a fine actor.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that show.
Yeah.
I enjoy that show.
Have you worked with Angela Lansbury?
I don't think I ever have worked with Angela. I obviously I love Bed Knobs.
I just watched it 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Oh my God. Yes.
Highly recommended, must-watch film. I love the way it's really good. Blend of animation and live action, kind of underrated.
Yeah. Totally.
David Tomlinson.
Hang on. Can we all? I have a question. How long does everyone think Bed Knobs and Broomsticks is?
Oh yeah, they made them long in those days, huh?
Yeah.
I would say that the correct answer is not long enough. 'Cause I could have kept watching.
And so much happens.
Yeah.
You forget that by the end they thwart a Nazi invasion of England.
Can I just say, and I'm sorry to dwell on this, but I fucking hate Nazis.
Oh,
no good. Very bad. Don't do it.
yeah. No, you've been very clear about that in your work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary
Hates
Poppins.
Nazis in space. He hates them on land.
Yeah. When my kids start watching Mary Poppins, they're thrilled, but then eventually they become oppressed by it because it's like almost 3 hours. So I'm going to say Bed Knobs and Broomsticks is probably I'm going to say 235.
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to say 220.
Okay.
I'm going to go just above that. I'm going to say it's 228.
Nangle, do you want to weigh in, or do you feel like you know?
I forget, and I don't care.
Wow, that's
a strong stance. Strong stance.
You've made yourself look very cool compared to all of us. That was Andy. I think you've just given up your Han Solo status.
Yeah.
I go down below. That was by far. We just got thoroughly owned.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Watto's the closest. It's 219.
Oh,
but George, you probably don't remember this, George, but I did want to bring this photo up.
Right.
Look at you guys.
We got one. He's a great woman.
AFI 40th anniversary.
I do remember that. I was like, I can't believe.
I'm really good at is looking at people and telling what event they're at by reading this whatever is the sign behind.
And you know what I was thinking during that moment?
What?
Stay on target. Stay on target.
I feel like a thing that people don't realize about Angela Lansbury is that she's pretty tall. She's 5'10" or 5'11", I think.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's putting up serious numbers against you, George, and you're not a short man.
I'm no short man.
No.
Yeah.
Can I say George, I saw you in person one time. You would have no memory. Well, you might remember some of the details, but not me being there because I was at Amblin Entertainment for an audition, and I was told that I could find the bathroom in the courtyard, and so I went and did that. And then I saw you walking down a flight of stairs, and then Harrison Ford walking up the same flight of stairs, and I'm thinking, how is this happening to me? And then I decided to try and eavesdrop a little bit, and all I heard from your exchange was you said, "I just got done interviewing black pilots."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was working on Red Tails. I was getting ready for Red Tails.
I think that's what it was.
And I'm trying to remember, what was the project you were auditioning for?
Well, it was something at Amblin. It would have been some kind of a TV project. Gosh, I don't know.
What year would that have been? 2000 and what? 2011,
maybe.
Maybe 2011.
Yeah,
sounds pretty good.
Don't worry, I'm just going to quickly look up every TV show Amblin ever produced. I'll get an answer for you in the next 45 minutes.
I audition for these, and then I walk out and I forget all about it.
Okay, here we go. Could it have been, Andy? I'm going to go down the list.
Wow. Let's solve this mystery.
Falling Skies, The Borgias, Terra Nova, The River, The Americans. That's probably, if it was a TV thing, that's what it would have been.
Really? Were any of those comedies?
I love Terra Nova, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You like that one? That's good.
I liked Terra Nova. I watched the first season of Terra Nova. They go back in time and then they're like around dinosaurs.
I'm a big Falling Skies guy. I like that.
But wait, I have a theory. Because
Okay.
Red Tails was in the works for a long time. If George was interviewing people, that was still in the sort of developmental stages. Andy, is there a chance it was on the lot? The Steven Spielberg reality filmmaking competition TV show in which a stock company of actors appeared in short films every week?
Oh, it could have been that.
On the
I'll
lot.
have to watch every episode of that show.
I've just did a little search for Amblin in my emails, and it might have been a meeting. It might have actually. I think it might
general?
have been. Yeah, I think it might have been a general.
Ooh, General Grievous.
Yeah.
Mm.
In different ways with that one.
Christine,
Here's
I have a
something.
question for you, Christine. Oh wait, did you find something?
Well, a voiceover audition for Gremlins in 2019. No, that can't be it. Never mind. Go ahead.
Christine, we worked together on the President Show,
Yeah.
which is a talk show, variety show hosted by someone playing a character.
Mhm. Yes.
A phony, a
And
liar.
you were a producer on it. Is it hard to produce a talk show where people are playing characters?
No, it's really
Patrick thinks it's hard, maybe because he's not working hard enough. He's lazy.
Yeah.
no.
Christine,
Yeah,
when you were
Yeah.
producing the show, would you say what would be the ratio during your average workday of working to snacks to naps? Like during a workday, how often would you snack? How often would you nap? And how often would you work on making the best show possible?
That's a good question. We had a good snack area.
we had a good snack area. I don't think I ever napped because I also was a writer.
Mhm.
Wow, sounds professional.
Yeah.
Unlike some people.
We were also having to keep up with the news and unfortunately follow everything that Trump was doing.
Was it a
weighs-
relief when when the show ended? Did you stop paying as close attention?
I did. Yes, I did. And that was a relief, although I really was sad that it was my favorite job experience I've
Right.
ever had.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People were so fun and the satire was really fun
Right.
to care about. So
Yeah, that was a great show. I love that show.
It was a great show.
Great show.
thanks.
Yeah.
Patrick worked on it. And we had a great guy play a reporter every week. We come
Yeah,
in.
Jeff Hiller. Jeff Hiller. he was
Cold
great.
Opens. Jeff Hiller played the Cold Opens. Very funny, very talented guy.
Yeah.
Shows up in a lot of things.
Yeah. So that was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Nangle, here's a good question. Tom Sharpling is asking top 5 writers' room snacks.
Let's rank them.
Oh.
Rank them.
Top 5 writers' room snacks.
And you know what, Andy, we can branch this out into crafty snacks too if you want.
Right.
Yeah, I've spent a little time in writers' rooms too, Patrick.
Yeah, you sat
Right.
at the table, have you not?
I'm
David?
trying to
Yeah.
open it up to everybody.
Right.
I
Well,
was.
at the Simpsons, we had not anymore because we're working but like we had donuts every single day.
So,
Caviar and
The
steak.
nicest donuts you've ever seen every single day. Like
Right.
Wow.
it was a bit or something.
right.
I used to request at the review writers' room the most bitter dark chocolate possible to prevent overeating chocolate, because you can just pop those little Three Musketeers all day. You know.
Mhm.
I don't like when people eat loud things like carrots or something. I think that's rude.
Mm.
We used to have at the President Show, and then the break with Michelle Wolf was in the same room, and there's a giant table in the writers' room, and the treats were always in the center. So if you wanted a treat, you had to like throw your body into the center of the table to get it, thus letting everyone know you're snacking. So I think I probably didn't snack, and then one of the writers got one of those like sticks that you like pull a trigger and it like. He bought it thinking that when he used it, we all would like fall out of our chairs laughing. But he like used it, and we were like, "Nice, you're great."
Are you eating little silver dollar pancakes?
Yeah, I promised myself that we had a deal that if you mentioned review, I would, in honor of the show, I would eat pancakes.
They're so cute.
Oh, thank you. I do feel honored, but those are very small.
George, I'm trying to figure out how you got them. That's this little.
I just asked. I said, don't make them too big. I got to eat a bunch of them.
You asked your staff at Skywalker? I'm trying to figure out, did someone make these for you? Did you purchase them? Did you make them yourself?
I did not make them myself. I when I want food, I tell people I want the food I want. And I tell them how big or how little I want it. I said, make them tiny little pancakes.
Must be nice.
That would have been a good idea for Horace McNeil.
Christine and Andy, the two of you are so clearly professionals because you talk about these sort of like mind games you are setting up to avoid over snacking, asking for food that's too bitter, putting things at a physical distance, all this stuff. It's like you're trying to encourage productivity and professionalism. And we have this problem, which is we do this show remotely and fucking Patrick won't stop snacking all the time. George and I are trying to do a comedy show.
Right.
We're like on the ball, and this guy's fucking napping and snacking constantly, and we can't stop him because we're not in the same room as him. It's fucking unprofessional.
Yeah.
We got some fan art from Goop Goop.
That's great. Americandy Daly.
Yep.
That's great. I keep I have a collection of fan art on my. Anytime anybody does some fan art that involves me, I screen capture it, and I have a collection of it. So that I'll put that in there.
Good news.
You say that like.
Because there's the Andy Lorian.
No one's ever made me fan art before.
Well, let's wish for some because Nangle, what kind of fan art would you like?
Well, I shouldn't say that because people will get gross.
No gross. Well, specifically, if it's gross, we won't put it up.
Yeah.
So the bar has been raised, everyone. If you want to be disgusting, go somewhere else. Christine's not buying it.
No. Go over to the Joe Rogan
Classy.
show. Christine,
Classy.
You need to understand, this is a classy show. We have very nice community. And if we say, oh, I'd love to see fan art of this, it shows up within 12 minutes. So,
wow.
So did somebody make that first one since the beginning when you introduced the hashtag?
Yeah.
Say a thing now, and we'll get fan art within 5 minutes.
Yeah. Don't worry about nasty fan art. Tell people exactly what fan art you want, and I promise you it will arrive in under 30 minutes.
Also, Christine, that Americandy Daly came in 25 minutes ago.
Whoa.
So that was done very quickly. Andy,
Wow.
is there any fan art that you've always wanted? Like something where when you get the fan art, you're like, I wish it was this.
Oh.
Or do you just like the surprise?
I do like the surprise. I mean, I wouldn't mind being sort of romanticized as an intergalactic smuggler with my despecialized Star Wars DVD.
Yeah.
Right. I'd love to see you riding around on that chassis.
Yeah, no,
With your bootleg, with the FBI hot on your tail. That's what I'd like to see. The FBI in hot pursuit.
People stop talking about the Andy's chassis.
Now, I do actually.
But wait,
Andy,
let's get something from Christine.
Nangle needs
Yeah.
to put in her fan art request.
Yeah, what's the request going to be, Nangle?
Okay. I guess what I would like is me with JB Fletcher and a couple of pit bull dogs and some soft pretzels with mustard on them.
Wow.
Done.
You're putting a food order into the fan art.
Yes.
Right.
Medium size.
That's actually a great diet, if the fan art diet, where you can eat anything you want, but only in a drawing that you look at. You can get someone to draw you eating whatever you want. You can eat as much of it as you want, but only look at the drawing.
Yeah.
I think that is a good idea. That might
Andy, I
work
do
for you.
remember that day when Harris and I went up and down stairs at the same time. And this might shock you, but we did that for your benefit.
What?
Yeah, because I used to haunt before we did our show at UCB. I used to come by. I used to see shows, and so I've seen you back in your improv days. I was aware of you.
Oh wow!
And I know we haven't worked together, but
just to see the swarm, he would fly in Saturday afternoon, see the swarm, fly back.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And it's weird that you must have been incognito or something because nobody ever said George Lucas is in the audience tonight.
I did. Well, here's the thing. I would shave my beard to go to shows. So I would look like this.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, let me make
Here,
that.
see this?
Look at him.
Look at that. Who
That's me
is
on the
that
cover.
guy?
That's me on the cover of Disney News. That's from the late 1980s. This is a magazine. Here's another photo of me, beardless. Remember this guy at the back? Oh, I couldn't get a seat at UCB. I'm back here by the photos.
There's a chin. He's got a chin there.
I know. It's astounding that he keeps that jawline hidden.
Did you ever come to Harold Night or Maud Night or anything? Did you ever see me do anything?
Yeah, I would come to Harold Night. I usually would leave before the 5th team, though.
Yeah.
I'd be like, if you're in the 5th slot, not interested. Let me see who's in that anchor slot.
I will say it has become a recurring segment.
Yes.
Watto, do you want to ask?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of confusion these days. I don't know if you folks know about this. Fake news is a pox. There's so much misinformation, conflicting sources. We don't know who to believe anymore. And of course, we were all startled to hear several years ago that Abby and Alana were never on Harold Night. So we always like to clarify with any guest, were you on Harold Night? Were you on Lloyd Night? Were you on Maud Night? We want to just settle the issues. So Christine, it sounds like you were just soft confirming. Were you on both Harold and Maud Night?
I was, yes. I was.
Christine, were you on Maud Night, were you, because Maud Night has writers and also
I was just a writer. I was a writer.
Don't say just a writer.
Didn't audition. I didn't want to be a performer. Not very good.
What did you do for your performer audition? Do you remember?
I didn't. I did not audition.
You didn't audition?
Harold.
What?
Your Harold audition. What were the scenes in the audition?
Yeah,
Gosh, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Did you do object work in your audition? Do you remember?
Yeah. Yes.
What were you digging something?
They want to balance out the teams, and you have to have one person who's really good at object work, and I think that's what my role was.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Andy, now, were you ever on Harold Night?
I think, there was a Harold Night at the original Solo Arts Theater, and I was in a group there. I think we were called Gigantic Man, and we did some Harolds there. And then the Swarm did do some proper Harolds, perhaps in the context of a Harold Night at the 22nd Street Theater.
Right.
So I'm going to say yes.
Right.
Wow.
Would those be like weekend team Harold Nights? Like special events?
Nah. So I think the original Harold Night was a Thursday at Solo Arts. That's my recollection.
Wow, this is a hot show. This is a hot
show. But Andy, now you were part of I would imagine you were placed. Like you were not in the era where thousands of people auditioned to get on a Harold team. I would imagine you were part of the era where you were placed, probably, right?
There were absolutely no auditions. There was had you taken a class or two, and they kind of thought you were okay, you were sort of tapped on the shoulder and asked to join one of these Harold groups. And sometimes if you really wanted to be on one, regardless of whether anybody thought you ought to be, you could talk your way onto one. That was
now in the chat. Goddamn Emily Pineapple is asking, "Am I the only one who wants to see some object work?"
Oh,
it can't be, because I also would like to see some object work.
Nangle,
Nangle.
That's me.
Geez. Okay. Well, I guess I also want to see if there's anyone else.
What are you drinking? Oh no, you're putting on and then you're looking through binoculars. Wow.
I just beat him!
Tuscan Raiders.
Oh no, there's something on the shed to wipe them off!
And then you get kicked over.
Wow. They're tough to take off the net.
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna
art.
Now you
Nangle,
see.
what was in your mod packet, Nangle? Do you remember? You submitted a packet, right?
Yeah, I did. It was in the early days of mod. I actually think a sketch about a thing that I ended up making into a web series, which is about a surrogate mother for hire. Dolores.
I want to have your baby.
I want to have your baby.
Yeah.
A commercial parody for a restaurant where everybody was really old.
Oh my goodness. You know, you ever go to Chili's, Nangle?
The restaurant?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I love it there.
We have had several people on this show who have worked with George in the past and have independently brought up how much he loves Chili's. Real people who worked with George Lucas and say, George, remember how much you like Chili's.
Is there a Chili's anywhere near Skywalker Ranch?
Yeah, not far. It's just once you leave the property, it's not far. You can go there, and sometimes I'll because sometimes I get tired of just having anything I want. I go to Chili's and there's like limits.
Yeah,
it's like the old days, you know.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you can't. Yeah, because honestly, and this is true. Earlier, it's funny that you called them silver dollar pancakes because I actually had an issue, which is I said I want them to be small, and they said, "Oh, you mean silver dollar pancakes?" And I said, "No, I don't want billions of them." And they're like, "No, we wouldn't make it." I'm like, "But you say dollars. I'm not going to be able to eat billions of pancakes."
You can't conceive of dollars coming in a reasonable amount. Yeah.
Was something like that what inspired you to do the pancakes episode of Review? Did someone make you eat too many pancakes?
No, I've never been made to eat too many pancakes.
So you just thought of that. What made you think of that, Andy? Because that's the whole series is perfect, but that is undeniably that's the one that is people identify as put that one in the time capsule. Like that's
a perfect episode of television. Put it in the National Board of Reviews library or whatever.
Yeah, people like that episode. I don't know. I think we just had cards on the wall and somebody said, "What's it like to eat 15 pancakes?" I think it just made us laugh. That sounds like too many pancakes. That's all. And then somebody else said, "What's it like to eat 30 pancakes?" And that made us laugh twice as much because it's really too many pancakes. And then, believe it or not, those two cards were on the wall independently for a long time before anybody said, "What if they both happened in the same episode?"
Do you remember who that person was who said that?
I believe that was Jeffrey Blitz, who ran the show with me.
He's got a fast name, but it also reminds me of the Nazis, so I both love it and hate it. Blitz. Now, they should build a statue of this guy. He's the guy who connected 30 and 15 and said, "Let's do both ideas."
I think so. Yeah. Oh. Yep. Pretty wild.
This is a good question from J Damer 83 in the chat. How many did you really eat for that episode? Actors have different approaches when it comes to eating on camera. How do
those weren't those weren't practical pancakes. Those were CGI, right?
No, my friend. Those were practical pancakes.
They looked real. That's why I assumed they were CGI.
I know. We did not have the budget for that. We shot that all obviously in one day. Everything that took place in that restaurant was shot in one day. So 15 and 30 pancakes and all the other scenes in that restaurant. And there was a spit bucket on the booth seat right next to me. And I don't know if you can tell the difference watching it between chewing and swallowing, but I almost never swallowed. I just chewed and chewed and chewed. And then as soon as I could, I spit them out. But from time to time, I did have to swallow. I would say I had about one full pancake and about 2 cups of Aunt Jemima syrup.
I heard that the spit bucket that they used in that episode was the same spit bucket that they were using in Yogi.
It was. Well, that's what they told me at some point.
Yeah,
the prop guy was like, "This spit bucket just came from New Zealand. It was just on the set of Yogi." I was like,
it was filled with bear cum, right? I had to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you made that distinction, though, Andy, because I don't. In an early draft of Star Wars, Chewbacca had a sibling named Swallowbacca, and ultimately, because he looked like a bird, like he looked like a little swallow, but he was covered in fur. And at a certain point, I said, "Let's cut this character. He drags down every scene. Let's just keep Chewie, and let's get rid of Swallowy."
So was it you never saw one without the other kind of a thing?
They were always hanging together. I said, "This is bad writing. We don't need Han Solo to have 2 Wookiee friends named Chewbacca and Swallowbacca."
Yep. I think that's great. I think that was a good cut. That was a good edit.
Yeah. I'm glad I cut it before we filmed it because you'd still be holding on to it if I'd released that in 1977 and then cut him out. You'd still be begging to get that early version of it that was not complete.
Swallowbacca. Things were best the first time. I don't like growth or change.
Swallowbacca. Chewbacca. No.
Is there anything at all that was in the 1977 version that is not in this? In other words, did you take anything away, or was it all adding?
Yeah, I would take some stuff away. Lots of stuff. I mean, sometimes you can't tell, but almost nothing of what we filmed is in the movie anymore. It's all completely recreated. If it looks like the old film, I promise you're looking at new stuff.
Oh, you have
all recreations.
Oh,
yeah.
That I had no idea.
Yeah,
you went back and recreated.
I went back and it's all new. There is not a pixel from the 77 version. There is not a sound. It's like how we replace ourselves on a cellular level every X number of years. Yeah, 7 years. Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. It sounds to me, you know what it sounds like is this heavy.
Here we go.
Ricky Barty. So funny.
I love it. Thank you, Ricky. Oh my God.
Did you specify that you wanted to be on Magnum PI's body, or was that just creative license?
They just knew.
I think that was the monkey's paw aspect of the request. Is there'll always be something that you didn't expect because you didn't specify Magnum or no.
No, that's great.
I tell you what, Selleck, he was almost Indiana Jones. He's got a great body.
Yeah. Thank you.
No one has ever argued with that.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Christine, have you ever written something that takes place in space?
That got made? I don't think so. No.
How about unproduced?
Unmade.
But I think I just said that to sound like I've written a lot of things.
Oh.
Okay.
Smart.
I did. I think I wrote a sketch that happened in space. Yeah, for sure.
What was the game of the scene?
The game, it was, I wrote it with Heather Campbell, and it was like the week that was like the last space shuttle. It was like 2012, and it was like 11 or something. And it was like the last space shuttle America was going to be sending. And it was just all the astronauts talking about their favorite memories and crying.
Right. Great.
Yeah, it was pretty great and never got made.
This is a
it hasn't gotten made yet. I'm about to throw you $1 million to make that.
Oh no, please don't.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw you $1 million. I'm gonna send the FBI to Andy's house. I'm gonna send $1 million. Be on the lookout for a bag with $1 million in it on your front of your wherever you live.
Okay. Can I have $1 million pancakes? $1 million silver dollar pancakes.
$1 million. I'll send $1 million silver dollar pancakes to your house. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the smallest quantity they come in.
Yeah.
Why do you ask, Patrick?
I'm just curious. I'm just trying to help.
I have. Okay, cool your jets, Patrick. You know, you're coming in way too hot this week.
Too hot.
I don't know, Andy and Christine, if you know this, but Patrick's head's been getting humongous. We're trying to cut him down to size this week. He feels like he can nap and snack whenever he wants. I'm confused. That's not fan art. That's a real picture.
The real photo. This is.
It's just the security camera footage.
This is like this. The only thing missing is the CNN bug in the corner.
Yes.
They're just following. We're following in Los Angeles.
It's like a vision of my future.
Yes, if you don't change your ways, Andy Daly.
Yeah.
Because you are the first person. We've been doing this for a while. I believe you're the first person to confess to a felony on our show.
Really?
We haven't had OJ on the show yet.
You might think about it. He probably has some thoughts.
We sent the ask out.
Yeah, but I love my despecialized edition. I whatever amount of jail time I had to do to pay for owning that, it would be worth it.
You like the Yub Nub? You like the Yub Nub song?
I love the Yub Nub song from.
You like it, and from 6
Jedi.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
Well, that's in your despecialized edition.
Oh no. I only have Star Wars. I don't have Empire or Jedi despecialized. I only have the original 1977, the one.
Oh, that's the one. The story ends for you.
Yeah, I think it's all done. I think I think you left it all on the field in that first one. There was nothing left to say.
So did you see Clones? Did you see Attack of the Clones?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I've seen them all. If that's one of them, I saw.
You ever see C-3PO have like a trip through a droid factory where he's having a real rough time?
Oh yeah, wasn't that in?
Attack of the
did
Clones?
that happen in Empire on Bespin, Cloud City of Bespin?
You're thinking of the time it happens.
Oh, he's
when
down there with
it's
the Ugnaughts.
serious and scary. George is talking about the time where it's very funny.
Very funny.
C-3PO's head ends up on a serious droid's body, and then the serious droid's head is on his body, and he's like, "Oh, I think I've simply lost my head." You probably don't remember it because you were laughing too hard.
That sounds right. I went into a laughter blackout.
Now, Watto, you're talking about funny Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think Nangle and Andy would like to hear about some more funny Star Wars. You should tell them about this.
I don't even know how to
begin.
tell this story, to be honest, because we've had some great guests on this show the last several months. We've had actors, we've had writers, we've had animators, we've had filmmakers, and every time it hurts to tell this story. But the two of you, as I said, two of the funniest people in television, consistently making some of the funniest television around.
Yeah. And you know when you're funny, right? You know when you're funny, right?
I think so.
You know?
I think so.
So
Yeah.
you must love that feeling when the episodes are released and people laugh and they tell you, "Thank you, thank you. This was truly the best medicine, the laughter you can."
I feel scared.
You should be.
Should be, Christine.
It's about
I
things are about to get very scary indeed.
In fact, get ready. I'm going to tell you a very spooky story. It was 12 years ago, on a night much like this one, when George Lucas, retired filmmaker and creator of Star Wars, decided it's time. People are ready. I should make a TV show that's like Star Wars, but very funny. Because George had already written the most financially successful joke of all time.
What was that? Can I ask questions?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What was the most financially successful joke of all time?
Nangle, do you know it? Do you know what the most financially successful joke of all time? Just if we're counting sheer box office totals.
Is it a verbal joke, like a written joke?
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
No.
I have a fear of what it might be.
Ooh, you're so close to saying what the joke is.
Oh, really?
You're so close. Oh.
Oh,
What do you think it is? What do you think it is?
What do you think it is?
I thought you were referring to That Had to Hurt.
Mm.
Very funny.
That's
Very
made a
funny.
lot of money.
Very
That's a
funny,
very
but
funny-
I don't think that's an original. I think that was like when I had Jar Jar say "Squeeze me." That's I'm part of the collective comedy community using sort of
I think it
shared.
has fear in it. The fear in it. Is it about fear?
Or how rude? How rude, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
It's pronounced how wooed. Please.
How wooed? Oh yeah, that was you lifted that from Home Alone.
What about that's not a thing?
No, that's and Full House.
Full. That's what is that what I said? That's what I meant.
Yeah.
He's just behind me, isn't he?
What
These
a-
are high-grossing jokes, but George is the creator of a blockbuster joke. Should I tell them, George?
Yeah. Well, let me give the setup.
Yeah,
Let me
okay.
get the setup. Because part of the thing is it's such a versatile joke because the setup is it seems like something terrible is about to happen, and it's obvious to everyone, both the characters and the viewers. And
I
then
know what it is.
take it away.
I think I know what it is. I don't know. Is it when Han Solo sees Lando Calrissian and then you think they're mad at each other, but then it's like, you're my friend?
That joke made some money. I won't deny it. That's a profitable joke. But that was a one and done. Once you get those laughs out, you cash those checks. You can't keep going back to the well.
This is a runner for George. It's a runner.
And not just in Star
That's
Wars.
what makes it so successful. It's a runner.
This is a joke. This is a joke that's in Star Wars movies. It's in Indiana Jones movies. It's in Radioland Murders. Like Any chance I get, I use this joke.
One
And
person says something crazy and the other person just
anyone can say it. Anyone can say it. Anyone can say it. And it always kills. And you can vary it a little. You can vary it a little bit.
So we all agree something bad is about to happen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
And terrible.
And then it doesn't happen?
No, it usually does happen.
It usually does happen.
But first, someone says this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Billions of dollars in the worldwide box office.
Right.
The reason I didn't guess that earlier is that how is that a joke?
Yeah. That's what I would say. Running this writer's room, I would.
A lot of times, and this is we've gotten pushback specifically, usually from comedy people and joke writers. Joke writers are sticklers for saying that's not a joke, but also
the joke's plain.
Yeah, and so people say, "How is that a joke?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hear everybody laughing. That's how. When people say, "I got a bad feeling about this," I have a bad feeling about this. You listen.
But if you
what?
say it,
What? You're just. I don't know if you can see the comments right now. Everyone's typing "ha ha" or "ho ho" or "he."
But if you do have a bad feeling about this, it's not a joke.
Well, have you ever read a little book called Truth in Comedy? I think they sell it at the abandoned UCB Training Center.
It'd be right there on the desk next to some copies of Freak Dance.
True. The funniest jokes are the truest jokes.
Sure.
Say not the lies aren't as funny as true things, right?
But it's also possible to say things that are true that are not funny.
Yes, like George, I'm leaving you. Not funny.
Yeah, that's not funny.
I don't get it. I don't get the. Oh, you're not joking? Okay.
I've got to be a bad feeling about this. That is bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so simple. I think that's the thing. It's so deceptively simple, and yet it always works. I've yet to see an audience not be thoroughly charmed by it. And I always hear those laughs. And if you tally up the number of times I've used it, and you tally up those dollars, even if you account for maybe not all of the money goes to just that part of the movie, still more than any other attributable joke that you can think of.
So when you think of that, you think, I've got a glad feeling about this.
I do. And see, that's how versatile the joke is. You can change it, make it a positive feeling.
Yeah. Public domain.
I once turned down big money. They were going to have Tom Bosley say that in a Glad trash bag commercial. I've got a glad feeling about this. I said, I'm not going to go for the short money on this. This is a movie joke.
Yeah.
We're not going to cheapen it because I'm still going to use this in Crystal Skull. I'm still going to use this in Radioland. I'm sorry. It's a hard no.
Do you use it in your own life, George? Yeah,
sometimes I will. Yeah. I said it in February when COVID started spreading.
You did?
Yeah. It was funny then. It's funny now. Even despite this being a truly terrible year.
Finish your story, though,
Waddle. Finish the story, Waddle. What a nice. You know, we took a nice. I don't know what to call it. A tangent, or what would we call this?
Perhaps a detour. Because as I was saying, it was a night just like this, 12 years ago, or somewhere around there. George decides it's time for funny Star Wars. So he assembles some of the funniest people in the business. And he says, I'm not letting the suits get their hands on this. I'm not taking notes. He writes a check and he goes, guess what? You've just been picked up for 3 seasons. And George himself self-finances and self-produces 3 entire seasons of animated comedy gold all at once. A show called Star Wars Detours, where the Star Wars stories we know take little detours and they're very funny. And he said, this is gold. This is better than gold. I'll put up the money. I'll make it. Someone will buy it. There has never not been a seller's market for Star Wars. It's always been demanded that I make more. And then Disney came along and they said, George, bad news. We would like to steal all of Star Wars away from you. and only leave behind $6 billion. And George went, no, no, no. And they took it like the thieves that they are. And he went, the one good thing is they will take care of my baby. They will raise my baby right, because Disney, of course, famous for releasing animation. They love releasing animation, right?
Mm.
So that's the story, and the ending is happy. Wrong! As 10 years later, we still have not seen Star Wars Detours, a completed 39 episodes of television that are just sitting on a shelf. They could release it on Disney Plus with the push of one button. Andy, your children could be watching those episodes backwards right now. But Disney won't release it. So once an episode, we ask people to tweet at Disney Plus, release the original 39, hashtag may Detours be with you.
This happens every time?
Every single time.
And you still haven't gotten a shelf back there behind you? No.
Sign, detour sign.
Watto still hasn't gotten his oven to work.
Oh.
Oh.
Quarantine's been hitting hard.
That story is crazy. George, are you still working on Detours?
No, it's done. Like we turn them over.
That's allowed to be done at some point.
No, I mean, like we finished it because I just paid for them. Most of the time, what happens, the way it normally works in the world, and you know this, when you're making a show, the most you might make would be a pilot, and then you'd ask someone else, "Can we make some more?" And then they'd pay for it. I decided, well, why do that? I can just pay for all 39 episodes up front. We can finish them. So we did all the voices, we did all the animation, we made it. We wrote more than 39 episodes. We have 2 seasons beyond that worth of scripts that we didn't even do.
Yes. George,
I want to produce 26 just ready to go to be animated.
I wanted to show a photo from it, and I promise this is not planned. I promise. But when I Googled Star Wars Detours to bring up a photo, this is what came up. Look what they're eating.
And
Pancakes.
Wow.
Pancakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is before you did pancakes. So you're welcome. Because who knows, maybe your episode wouldn't have, maybe it was meant to be. Maybe if Star Wars had become famous for doing a pancakes episode, then what's his name? Blitz?
Yeah.
What's his first
He
name?
would have said Jeffrey. He would have said,
Jeffrey Blitz is saying there, and he's thinking, what if we combine and do 15 and 30? And then someone else in the room pipes up and says, didn't Star Wars, it's a little Star Wars, isn't it? Like, didn't Star Wars already do pancakes?
Yeah.
Touch of Detours in this episode.
It's a little derivative.
It's two Detours beat us to it. Would have been like the most commonly said thing in comedy writers' rooms around the world.
It's a reverse detour.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did.
But
I want to show this because I know, Andy, I think you have to go in a minute. I don't want to keep you too long, but I wanted to show we got something else. Nangle, get excited.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. It's from
That's
Eric.
Look at that.
And it looks like, and this must be a spinoff because Jessica Fletcher's nowhere to be found. Like this is your own show. This is your own.
My dog's ate her.
Wow.
Those are one. I think pit bulls. You shouldn't clip their ears. They're not born like that. You know what I mean?
All right, Eric, redo it. Redo it.
Eric, that's a great note.
No.
Don't clip their ears.
Yeah. Thank you. That's adorable.
Really good. And not nasty at all, right? It's not. You were worried it was going to be raunchy. What was the word you used?
Right. I don't.
Disgusting, I think.
What did I say?
I thought you said disgusting. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a magnet for some weirdness. But yeah.
Yeah.
Andy, if you need to go soon, I hesitate, but I feel like there's something we need to ask you to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think I know how this is going to go, but it's better to just air it out, get it out in the open.
Sure.
On the
Definitely.
show review, your character, Forrest McNeil, would rate life experiences on a scale from 1 to 5.
Mhm.
Oh wow, wow,
That's
we're gonna
correct.
do this.
Now, I know that was a show. It was a character. It
Thank
was
No,
you.
not
it was
a show.
That's exactly right.
It was a
But an
story.
actor prepares. And so doing that show for 3 seasons, you must yourself have learned how to rate things on a scale from 1 to 5.
Interesting.
Would you mind giving your ratings on a scale from 1 to 5 of the Star Wars movies?
Oh, I thought
I'm
you were gonna
bracing
ask me-
myself for impact.
I thought you were going to ask me to rate the experience of being on this show, and that
No, that's a 5. I know that
That's a
answer.
5.
That's irrelevant.
yeah, that's
That's
I don't
fine.
like that. I get that a lot. Okay, all right. I will humor you in this, even though just to go real quick, just to take a real quick detour.
Mhm.
Right.
There was a
Oh.
certain point at which I told the Comedy Central's publicist to explain to people who wanted to talk to me about review that I am not a life reviewer. The character is, so don't ask me to rate things. Believe
But
it or
I
not,
knew. I said that. I
Yes.
said that
Right.
in my
That was all.
draft.
That's
You did.
baked in the cake.
you
It's baked
did.
in.
And if anybody had ever sort of put that preamble on it, I would have said, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And it
And,
was a
yeah,
compliment to you. I know you're not the same person, but also an actor prepares.
yeah, I know. Okay.
Stanislavski.
great. That's
Stanislavski.
fine. I don't know why it drove me so crazy, but it did. But anyway, to
That
rate,
happened to me with object work after Harold Knight.
yeah,
Do you want to do some object work while he is rating the movies, Nangle, to kind of come up
Yeah.
with objects that parallel the ratings he's giving?
Sure.
Right.
okay. Star Wars, 5 stars. The Empire Strikes Back, 3 stars. Return of the Jedi, 2 stars. Then you go back to those 3, the next 3 that came out. Those are beyond any ratings. Let's just say that. And then the next 3, I guess you have to just apply the earlier ratings to them because they're indistinguishable. They're remakes, in my opinion. So those are my ratings.
Andy, I do have to, just on a technicality. I don't want to. I'm going to special edition your ratings. I'm going to get in there because you can't. I understand if it's not your thing, because by the time the prequels came out, you were no longer a child, and they're children's movies. They were always children's movies. They were always children's movies.
They
Sorry.
I know. I know.
There's something that about a
That's not-
grown
the first Star Wars movie is an art film.
children's movie.
It's
It's
not a
children.
children's
It's for little
movie.
babies. It's a
It's
movie
for
for little
little
babies.
It's a work of art. I've heard
Tiny
you say, by the way, now things are getting heated, because I've heard you say that the reason you would release your movies on a Wednesday is so all the weirdos and lunatics could see it on Wednesday and Thursday and during business hours on Friday, and then the weekend could be left to the normal human beings.
To the children.
Right.
To the children. All the
That's what we
freaks.
consider as normal people.
All
Yeah.
the freaks and the felons, all the thieves and the criminals can go see it on Wednesday.
Your disdain,
I-
for your audience is palpable.
I doubt, Andy Daly, I doubt you ever even bought a ticket. You probably snuck in through the employee. You probably dressed up like you worked at the movie theater and went in through the staff entrance, then snuck your way into the theater. I don't think I've ever gotten
No.
$1 out of you, Andy.
That is not,
You can't.
not
You
only,
can't.
Andy!
not only did I buy
Star is in the title.
Every title in.
There's at least 1 star for each Star Wars movie because it's in the title.
It's in the title.
You can't give no stars to a Star Wars movie because there's already 1 star in the title. That's the
They each
lowest.
deserve 5 stars because they have millions of stars in them.
That's fine. That's fine. They can all
Stop
have one
yelling
star.
at our guests,
I'm
guys.
going to tell you this.
for
Not only
babies.
did I pay tickets, there you go. I like that one.
Oh wow.
Not only did I pay for my tickets, but at a certain point, after all of the specialized versions had come out, and then as the prequels started coming out, I remember saying to a friend of mine, and he quotes it back to me all the time, I said, I feel like I have to pay an annual Star Wars tax.
This is your origin story. This is how you. So you weren't always a criminal. This is the story of Anakin. You were a
Anakin
beautiful,
was a nice
you were
little
a
boy once.
beautiful
I know,
little
I
boy.
owned him.
Just wanted to pay for your movie tickets, but then at some point you turned to the dark side. You said, I don't want to pay this Star Wars tax anymore. Give me a criminal edition of the movie.
Criminal edition.
This is what I want. I only want to watch 1/9 of the story, and I want it to be cobbled together by a bunch of thieves.
Do you know what I say to your theory of my origin story?
Yeah.
No!
That's his least favorite word.
Yeah. I don't like that word, but it's a good joke.
Andy, you know how you said that you paid for the tickets and you didn't sneak in?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. And you know the way that when little kids want to see a naughty movie, they stack up on top of each other and wear a trench coat to pretend that they're adult? I think you did the opposite. I think you put on a little propeller cap and short shorts, and you put your shoes on your knees, and you pretended you were a kid, because the movies are for kids. They're baby movies.
Look, I'll agree that they have become baby movies, but that first one, man.
They always were. Look in your heart. You know it to be true.
They
always were.
No. That first one was not baby movie.
Go on.
No baby would sit through the two robots wandering through the desert for that long.
It's fucking Teletubbies, man. It's fucking Teletubbies. It's white noise for babies.
Yeah. Well, you're paying the Star Wars tax every month with that Disney Plus, so you can go in, you can watch the McClunky cut.
Yeah.
Even if you just want, honestly, Andy, promise me this: just fast forward to that scene and watch how perfect it is. It's like eating 50 pancakes.
I have all the time in the world, and I'm not going to do that.
Well, I don't believe you, Andy. I think that's a tough guy pose.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a tough guy pose. You can fold your arms and act like you're not going to do this. I'd be surprised if you don't do it within 30 seconds of leaving this stream. I almost say in order for me to believe you, and even then I think you trick it, you'd almost need to immediately put on a live stream after this ends to prove that you don't rush your Disney Plus to watch the McClunky cut.
A 30-hour live stream showing us what you're apparently doing. That isn't watching the McClunky cut.
But even if you did that, you'd never convince me that at the end of that 30-hour live stream, the first thing you did the second you ended that stream was rush to your Disney Plus.
You need to start another live stream after the 30 hours to show us what you were doing once that ended.
This is the least curious I've ever been about anything in my life.
Oh, the more you say it, the more I know that you just want to hear one last little word, one last little piece of Star Wars. That little deep down inside, little Andy Daly is saying, "Please, grown-up Andrew, don't do this to me. Don't deprive me of one more little Star Wars word for a little baby like me."
Little Andy.
Little Andy.
That's a decent argument, but it's not going to happen.
Well,
perfect ears.
Oh, wow.
Perfect ears.
I love it.
Yes,
longer
ears.
Christine, what's the name of your dog?
This is Philby.
Philby, great name.
Philby.
Mm.
Tomorrow he turns 7.
Andy, do you have any pets?
Yes, I also have a dog. Mm-hmm.
What's your dog's name?
Sunny Sunshine.
Sunny, after the two suns on Tatooine, your favorite movie.
Sunny.
I'm honored.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah,
no.
Two sons.
No.
Two sons in there. Well, that is what the dog's named after.
Oh, that's so nice. And Andy, I know that you have to go.
I do.
But I want to thank you so much for coming by and spending some time with us. You've given me a lot of laughter over the years.
Thank you very much. I really want to sincerely thank you for that first Star Wars movie that you made. And no, it was the first one. And
thank me for Phantom Menace. Then I'll take it. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you liked it. We worked really hard on that picture.
Really hard. You can't win it both ways, Andy. Yeah. Either it's the fourth one you liked, or it's the first one you liked. But
as Admiral Akbar would say, it's a trap, Andy.
Sounds like a trap. All right. Well, then
Yeah.
I have nothing to thank you for, but I've had a nice time.
Andy, I told Steve when you went into Amblin, I said he's going to make this too funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I regret it, but I wasn't wrong. You're a funny man.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're not capable of drama, because you are, but you're
Sure.
one of the funniest people in the business, and I truly believe that.
He said, Steve, if you hire Andy, this project is going to go full Detours. It's going to be so funny they might never release it.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is a danger of being too funny.
It's called Star Wars Detours. That's what they
Yeah,
call it now.
That's what it is.
I said,
Detours,
Steve,
this one.
Steve, you can cast him, but you're going to have to go to the hospital with a busted gut. Because that's how funny this guy is. I've seen him with the Swarm, and he never fails to deliver.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice compliment, but also please stay out of my business in the future.
All right. Well, please come to my museum in the future. That's the deal.
I'm definitely going to come to that museum.
That'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's also a Subway nearby.
The best things come in museums.
Yeah.
That's right.
I agree with that.
Andy,
Thank you.
Review is truly one of the best TV shows of the last decade. Watto rewatched it like 2 weeks ago, and it still really hits the spot. And if people haven't watched it or they haven't watched it recently, it's always worth a spin.
And there's a new edition. It recently came out to buy on a physical format.
That's right.
With special edition features.
Well, there's some deleted scenes and some extended scenes and some commentaries, but absolutely nothing has been altered from any of the original episodes from the format that they aired in originally.
Don't worry, Andy.
that's right.
It's time. You have 40 years to add some McClunkies.
Also, you shot it. You didn't shoot it on film though, right? You shot it digitally.
That's correct. Yes.
Right. You were ahead of the game before you started.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be, we don't have to digitize it in order to ruin it.
No, it didn't need a special edition because you did it right the first time. It's not like you shot it on 35 millimeter and then had to go clean up the grain decades later. It looks beautiful.
My despecialized edition is made from an original 35 millimeter print.
Wow. This is like listening to Charles Manson talk about his crimes.
It's gorgeous.
It's like saying my shoes are made out of human flesh. You're flaunting it in front of us. The most disgusting, depraved object imaginable.
Save your confession for the members of the Federal Bureau of Investigations who are en route to your home right now. I hate to say it.
It took them like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it took them a long time.
Yeah.
But and also my DoorDash is here, so hopefully they'll let me just eat that.
That's the FBI pretending to be DoorDash.
You might want to put on pants before you get that DoorDash, because you're not coming back indoors.
Yeah.
All right, but again, I have no regrets. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Andy.
This was great fun.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nangle,
Christine.
I have two big TV questions I want to ask.
Yeah. Questions about big TVs?
You were talking about yes. What do you think is the best model on the market right now? It was a joke. Christine, you were talking about unmade sketches, and I'm always very interested. People who have worked on sketch comedy. You were on a mod team, of course, but also you worked on Saturday Night Live and Inside Amy Schumer. The Break had sketches. President Show has sketches. You worked in a lot of sketch comedy. Do you have any sketches you've always wanted to get made, like your rejected unmade sketches that you sit on that you still think about, you wish you had gotten through?
Everyone wants the dog full screen, so I'm going to make the full screen. Yeah, there we go.
Full screen dog.
There we go.
Gosh, have I ever made? I mean, I have plenty that I haven't gotten made and was probably angry about at the time, and now I'm happy that they didn't get made.
You remember, and we can do it this way. We could say, do you remember any, we'll start with SNL ones that you pitched that you were like, this is a full, this will be fire. I can't talk tonight. This will be the best sketch of all time, and it didn't go.
You mean it didn't get on? Or
Tell me your rejected sketches.
I've never ever thought any of my ideas were the best anything.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
I have had I blocked out SNL. I really like barely remember from that experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
We can move on to a different show.
Like there were sketches that I wrote for SNL that weren't like appreciated or whatever, and then I used on Amy Schumer. So that was cool to have that experience. There's a sketch that I did on Mod Night that ended up on Inside Amy Schumer.
Which one?
It was called we called it You Can't Go In There, and it was about just kind of this trope that in movies and TV where like someone angrily tries to charge into like the boss's office, and the secretary just stands up and says, "You can't go in there," and the person runs by them anyway. So I just kept noticing that happening, and so I wrote a sketch where that just keeps happening to somebody, and the boss can't comprehend how people are physically getting into his office if his secretary is saying you can't get in there.
Right. So would that be a joke? You can't go in there?
In that context, yes, maybe repeated over and over again, it would.
If it's a runner, it's a joke.
I guess you could probably say that.
Sounds pretty similar to I Got the Bad Feeling about this.
I'm sorry, he's sick of this.
Great dog content. Thank you for.
He has a bell that he rings on the door when he wants to go out, so he's going to go.
Really? Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Wait, I wanted to ask you a question, George.
Okay.
So, have you ever heard of EMDR? It's a trauma. It's a therapy used in trauma.
I know ER was a show produced by my buddy Steve for Amblin.
Yeah.
It was full of doctors. Is that what the MD stands for?
No.
Emergency Medical Doctor Room. I said, drop the MD. It's cleaner.
Normally when people bring up acronyms, you don't guess what they are. You just, let the other person explain.
He's a very curious person.
EMDR. It sounds like a more dangerous version of ASMR.
It's one that you do in clubs.
Right.
No, actually, I don't know what it stands for. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, but that's not necessarily what it is.
All right, I'm interested.
It's a treatment that people use for and a lot of PTSD, like a lot of soldiers with PTSD or just other people with trauma. They use this therapy modality, I guess. And what you're doing is you're kind of like, and I've done it a little bit, where like you are kind of going back in your brain, and you're kind of trying to take some of the strength out of the trauma and changing the experience in your brain and in your memory, so that when the memory comes up again, your body doesn't react in the same way.
Okay.
And it sounds to me, when you're talking about changing your movies,
right,
that you're kind of doing a little bit of that type of therapy.
Right.
Where you're going back to the experience and you're taking out the really hard stuff. So when you look back at it, you don't want to feel.
It George, feels like you're saying it's very healthy what he's doing. Like it's actually a healthy, constructive thing for him to change the movies entirely.
In a way, if you look at the movies as yours and yours alone,
right?
Yeah.
Then in a way, maybe it is.
I mean, George, one of the things that people say about the special editions is that you had them re-edited so that your first wife who edited the movie would not get residuals on them.
Okay, that's different. Right.
How's that different?
I'm just saying.
Let's bring it. I think we can put that into context though, because do you like stained glass, Christine?
Sure.
All right.
Wonderful. Right.
I had a beautiful stained glass commission for the library at Skywalker Ranch. Just gorgeous for the library. And this is in the early to mid 1980s.
One another thing you do in every show.
Pretty much.
I've mentioned it before, but
you're doing the spell, so you tell the story.
I mean, the story is. I won't do that because the story is entirely for her benefit. It's very funny.
I mean, I have to say, that's some good comedy television right there.
Hang on.
Great comedy television. Yeah.
Good news,
So,
Christine. Waited to tell you.
Yeah.
Sorry, audience.
So I was cuckolded by the man who made that stained glass. And then I kept the stained glass up. It's what ended my first marriage.
The
So
cuckold,
then-
not the stained glass, to be clear.
Yeah. I kept the stained glass. It's nice.
Right.
And then I
You did not
re-edited.
keep the cuckolding. Yeah.
And then I re-edited the movies.
Sure.
Life's complicated. Here's something you might actually be interested in. At what point were you on Mod Night, Christine?
At what point?
Yeah.
Like, I was like 2008 or 9 to 2000.
Right. Because I think I was actually instrumental in the creation of the first Mod Night, which was when the first Mod Night was when B. Arthur worked at the Creature Cantina.
Thank you.
Take a look. Let's take a look. You ever see this? That's a Mod Night. Look at that.
That
Talk
is
about it.
quite a night.
Talk about a little Mod Night.
Oh man.
A little mod.
Then there's Mod Night.
All night.
Wow.
George, you sat on that for a while.
God, I love
And yet it wasn't available the instant I called for it, Patrick. For something that I called for in the private chat like 30 minutes ago. It was a good 30-second. That had a longer delay than Richard Pryor.
And that's the episode where she had the abortion.
That's right.
Yes.
Repeated it.
You
Yeah.
don't want to know who the
Very
father was.
special episode. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Here's a question.
Here's a question.
Here's a question.
Here is a question. Nangle, you have your Nangang robe hanging up right
Right.
behind you.
Yeah.
Now that's a little bit of merchandise. You've built this Nangang brand, right?
Smart.
But we were talking about trademarks and the like earlier. George built his fortune by retaining the full merchandising rights for Star Wars. He had that in his contract. He said, I'll take less money to direct this movie if I own merchandise in perpetuity. And that allowed him to make every other movie for the rest of his career, that he had that money to work with. Now you have this Nangang robe, but then I go over to the Doughboys Tea Public and they're selling Nangang shirts. The brand is all over the place. When are you going to lock down those rights? You could be making billions off of Nangang merchandise.
Billions.
I don't.
Billions.
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 It would make me uncomfortable if people actually cared that much about it.
Mm.
But maybe tonight is the night I lock down the merchandise.
Lock down the TM.
I'm
Let-
down.
Let us sell the Nangang merch.
Yes. Sell us the rights to Nangang merch. Let us be the. What about this? Just let us be licensees.
No,
We
because
sign a 2-year contract and we'll try to sell as much as we can, and we'll give you the masterclass deal, 30% of sales.
the last thing I need is Nangang action figures. That's
That's
the
the last thing you need?
the
That's
last.
the first thing I was gonna make.
That's gross.
That was first.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I feel like the thing I really like about Nangang is that everybody knows that it's stupid and not a real thing to care about. That's what I like about it.
Right.
And it just was done to troll. It was just done to troll the Doughboys.
Mm-hmm.
It's silly fun. It's silly fun.
It's silly fun. This is what I wore for the Philly show. I entered wearing this with Rocky. I think with Rocky playing. And
do you use it as a normal robe, like when it's chilly out?
no, I use it for sex stuff.
Okay.
That's all though.
But when it's chilly out,
But yeah, when it's cold out.
even when it's chilly out,
Yeah, because then I don't want to be naked.
Okay.
Yeah, it just hasn't been chilly in a while, so I guess I forgot. Or to Chili's. I might wear it to Chili's. If I was invited to Chili's, I might wear it.
George, can we show Nangle this toy that I have next to me?
Is
Absolutely.
it like a bootleg Nangang action figure? Because I really
No, we don't have the rights.
okay, yeah, okay, good.
If we had the rights.
We'd love to, but we don't have the rights.
You got the rights, and we'll see it, but we're not going to go ahead without the
As
rights.
someone who owns slaves, you seem very interested in rights.
Yeah, because I have the right to own white slaves. That's how things work on Tatooine. It's on the cup.
Two slaves. George, can you explain this toy a little bit?
It's a Taco Bell cup, but you can.
No.
I believe you could also what? Oh, not the cup.
No,
It's
my
just for
toy.
holding. It's for holding beverages. You would go to Taco Bell and they would put your drink in that cup.
This is the lid, and then
I
there's
really
a
don't
hole.
think it, Patrick. I don't think it needed explanation. I think
George-
Christine and everyone watching knows what a cup is.
Talking about this, George. Talking about this.
All right, this is.
Wait, is this the thing that you tell every time because my dog has to come in?
Bring
Yes,
the dog.
No,
this is
we've
the thing
never-
we do
no,
every time.
okay,
We've
good.
never told this before. We've never told this before. No, she
wait,
believed my
wait.
lie.
Look, we're gonna make her full screen when she comes back, and then we'll tell her.
Everyone be quiet.
Everyone be
Be
really
very quiet.
quiet.
No
Everyone
one
type. Everyone type. We all left. Everyone type. We all left in the chat. Say we went away.
We all went away.
Type I
We
left.
all-
And then
We
bring us
all-
back in and we duck down. Bring us back in and we duck down like we're not here. Like that.
Take it off. Take it off. Take it off the screen.
Make Nangle full screen.
Oh no! Is this one of those things where everyone pretends they're sleeping when you leave the room?
I really do like the effect that it sounded like we got on a train, like we hopped on a freight train. You heard like a train whistle in the distance. That's actually for that joke. We actually violated one of the only rules that Twitch has, which is that you can't leave the stream unattended.
Really? Wait
Yeah.
a minute. Did you guys were you sleeping?
No, we were just
Oh, we were
hiding.
playing that joke.
Oh,
We're hiding.
okay.
Well,
I was
I
gonna
take
say-
speak for yourselves. I took a little nap.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite like bits, and it was probably like one of the first bits I ever did as a kid, is the thing where like someone leaves the room and everyone pretends they're asleep when they come back.
Right,
I
and
was
that's
the funniest thing. And I was trying to get like in high school, like at the cafeteria table when like people would leave the table, I was trying to get the whole table to pretend they were
Okay,
sleeping.
Christine.
right.
Christine.
Like,
Christine.
Christine, leave again.
Oh.
Just leave.
Okay. I'll just go give him a treat.
Yeah, just go give him a treat. All right, now we're all gonna be asleep.
All right.
Wow. Thanks for watching the George Lucas talk show, everybody.
Christine, it was only a joke. It was only a joke.
We're kidding. We're awake. We're awake.
We've been on for a while. I was just trying to,
Now, Christine, Christine, this thing that you would do when you were a child, you'd pretend to fall asleep. Was that a joke?
It was a runner, wasn't it?
Was it a runner?
It was a runner. It's been a runner my whole life.
Back in. Bring the dog back.
Did we say, well, I think one thing we've. What do we do now?
Uh-huh. Stay still.
Oh, you're frozen. You guys froze. You guys froze. Oh, Watto wants that sandwich so bad. He wants the bit more than he wants the sandwich.
Have a bit of a sandwich, Watto.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we've learned tonight, because I did preface all of this by saying that I thought it was gonna be a masterclass in comedy. I think one of the things we've all learned is that the definition of what is a joke is perhaps more flexible than even a seasoned comedy writer might have assumed even just a few hours ago.
I think you're right. I learned something for sure. I'm a little
Right.
more open than some joke writers on what could be a joke, though.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you more open on? I have a bad feeling about this.
I am now, yeah. Well, I think I just don't think it's a joke when you actually do have a bad feeling about something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know
You're
what I
saying
mean?
that's a very serious thing. That should not be taken lightly.
Right. Yeah. If you have a bad feeling, you gotta listen to your feelings.
I also want to be clear to Christine because she said that we've been going on a while, which is true. But
That's true.
George, we should tell Christine about this show.
Right. I think it's fair. And this isn't something we do every week. We don't tell people this every week.
This is new. This is fresh. This is
We did the show we did the show for 6 years at the UCB Theater in New York. And the format for that was usually roughly an hour because we were either a midnight show and at a certain point people need to go home, or when we were a 7:30 show, we had to be done in time to clean the theater and get the next audience in for the 9 o'clock show.
tight little show.
We occasionally we go a little long, maybe an hour 10, hour 20. But most of the time we had to keep within those limits. When we came, COVID happened, the theater collapsed.
I don't know about this. Yes.
And we came back with a 30-hour marathon for charity.
I heard, yeah.
Yeah. And then we did a series of 8 to 12-hour charity marathons. And it's a lot. It's a lot to do a show that long. We have a 17-hour marathon coming up later in the month on September 20th, where we're going to watch all of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. And we're going to raise.
You must love because you write comedy. It's the best depiction of comedy writing.
Christine, right now, I think this is an announcement, George. I think this
we're going to make an announcement. This is an announcement.
I'm going to make an announcement. As of right now, we have at least 25 guests who were either on the show or worked for the show.
Wow.
It will be the largest Studio 60 retrospective that will ever happen. I want to make that clear.
I want to share a true thing that happened earlier today. I think I can share this, right, Patrick?
I don't know what it is, but sure.
There was a moment today when Patrick thought he learned something that it turned out to be not true. Patrick learned that someone was working on an oral history of Studio 60. And Patrick became so enraged at the idea that someone might be racing an oral history of Studio 60 to publish prior to our watch-a-thon. Because honestly, Patrick is we give Patrick a hard time for how lazy he is, how he's all the time, and getting his druthers.
He collects druthers, right?
Yeah.
But he truly has gone above and beyond. A lot of people worked on Studio 60, a lot of talented people, and did a lot of good work. But I don't think anyone has ever worked harder on anything than Patrick is working on producing the Studio 60 Watch-a-thon.
And it's clearly a passion project. It's a labor of love. Patrick, you haven't even revealed what I consider to be the more impressive number. 25 guests currently booked who worked on Studio 60. Patrick, how many additional people are you waiting to hear back from right now?
I have not gotten a response as of yet. Some people we've reached out to more recently, from at least 35 others.
So there's 35 other people potentially in the mix right now.
Right.
Wow.
And I think this is a pretty impressive thing. I'm going to go ahead and give this stat if I can. See if I can find this stat.
You know what? This is also important. If people want to watch Studio 60, the show, I would go on Twitter and look for some account if you want to watch Studio 60, the show. That's all I'm saying.
You're sounding like a real Andy Daly right now. I got a bad feeling about this.
And I think, unless I'm mistaken, unless I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 9 no's so far. We won't say who they are.
Yeah.
But you've only gotten 9 people to say who've said not going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You've asked 55 people, and only 9 have given hard no's. There are a lot of people still in play.
More than 55, but more than 55.
Wait, so how many people? If all of the people, I think the goal should be to have 60 guests, right?
We want to have one guest.
Can you tell this story every episode?
No, this is fresh.
News. You make this announcement every episode.
This before.
You're
Can
getting
we get a Chiron that says breaking news? Can we get a little thing at the bottom that says breaking
Yeah,
news?
hang on one sec.
This is breaking.
That sounds like an episode of.
Hey, good news! Good news! Episode 118 is titled "Breaking News."
It sounds like an episode of like Studio 60 where like they find out that a rival show has a sketch about an oral history about a show, and then
wait, George didn't give the kicker to this story.
I didn't give the kicker.
Give the kicker.
Oh my God, give the kicker.
Oh, it's not happening. No one's been doing an oral history of Studio 60.
Oh, right.
They're trying to do it of the West Wing.
It was a misunderstanding.
Wires just got crossed.
Now that doesn't mean that there isn't someone out there. It's possible that even by mentioning this tonight, some industrious person in the comments thread, some wicked little devil will decide they're going to do it.
Do it. I will pay. I will pay someone.
What?
It's possible. Oh, now it is like a studio. What if the Nangang gets mobilized to do an oral history of Studio 60 before September 20th?
No.
Christine, are you threatening to start a publication just to hire someone to do an oral history on a tight 2-week deadline?
No. I don't want.
I might be. I mean, I don't know. I would probably truly, if I had to do a project like this, I would probably hire Patrick to organize the talent for me. Yeah. So Patrick.
Yeah.
Oh, will you commit to helping?
Wait, hang on. Let's let Nangle ask me.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, Christine. Good to talk to you. How you doing?
Yeah, I hope you're doing good with all this.
I mean, as well as you can.
Everybody's going to do. We're all the same. Everybody's going through a hard time. I'm working on this thing where I want to do an oral history of Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
The TV show?
The TV show, and get as many people as possible. And it would mean a lot. Several members of my family are dying, and it would mean a lot to them.
Wait, Nangle, who?
A lot of them. Yeah. I'd rather not say for privacy's sake.
But it's just you and I. This is just you and I talking. It's just you and I.
Oh,
no one else is here.
As you know, I have several dads.
Several dads, yes.
Several dads.
It was a mama mia. It was a mama mia.
My dads. My mom, my mom, she's okay. But like many of my cousins, anyway, look, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. You don't have to drag this out.
I just wanted to hear some more details. Where is this going to be published? Will I get paid?
It's going to be published on, you'll get paid. You'll get paid.
Okay.
It's going to be published on womenfunny.com.
I hear they're good. I hear they're
good. Every day we investigate whether women are funny. So get back to me. We want to get it out by midnight, September 19th.
Now, if I say no, are you just dropping it?
No.
Oh, you're gonna go to someone else? You're gonna go to someone else?
Yeah. I'm gonna go to your competition.
Oh my gosh.
And you get paid silver dollar pancakes amount of money.
Okay.
So
can I think about it and I'll let you know before you go?
Yeah. I'm gonna go real soon because here's the thing. Yeah. I turned off my air conditioner so it wouldn't make noise.
And now you're real hot.
100 degrees and I'm extremely hot. Yes.
Okay. I'll bring back in George Amato. I'll think about it really quick. And
Thank you. I was hoping.
Okay. Hey guys.
Here's what I'd love to know. Who's Patrick's competition?
Wait, you heard that? You heard that?
Yeah, we heard it.
Take Patrick off the stream.
Take Patrick off the stream.
Patrick off.
Who's Patrick's competition?
Because his head's getting so big, it might be time to start looking for some competition.
Patrick is the Ewoks of this show. He is the breakout star sensation. Like he's the toy. Like he's the toy this Christmas. The toy is a little Patrick.
Yeah,
it's a little Patrick.
Yeah, young Patrick.
Right,
little Patrick and his little bag of druthers.
Yeah,
we've been trying to neg him into staying on the show, but I don't know if it's going to work. So who's this competition?
His competition?
Yeah.
Some would say it's himself.
Oh. let's bring Patrick back in. Because I think Patrick has something to show you before you turn your AC back on. Also, you can turn your AC on, and we'll just hear how it sounds.
Okay, because it's so funny.
Yeah, by all means.
Oh, hey guys, what I miss?
You know what you missed, Patrick. Don't act like this is some bit.
Christine is turning her AC back on.
I turned on my AC.
That's our competitive advantage. We are the only talk show that allows people to turn their AC on.
The only talk show. No, Patrick, here's what you missed, is that you are your own worst enemy.
You are like Luke in the forest, and he fights the dart, and then the helmet breaks, and he goes, "Oh no, it's my face."
Oh no, it's my face.
Breaking news, it's your face.
Oh no, it's your face.
Your competition is you without the beard.
Yeah,
I'm afraid to tell you that your competition is the beardless man.
Patrick, if you were to break off your own face, you know what would be underneath it? Another
What?
face. Another face.
Oh, no.
Beardless.
Oh, no. Beardless.
No beard.
Nangle, I'll do it.
We can't hear the AC at all.
Great. Good.
That sounds
Wow,
great.
I could have had it on this whole time.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
slightly windblown. Look.
It's now, Patrick. We never got a chance to show the toy. You were trying to show the toy off to Christine.
Yeah, sure.
This is Hungry Hero Jar Jar, and as a toy, you squeeze his hand and he says a number of phrases. You squeeze his belly, and his tongue shoots out, and it makes a fun noise. And what we like to offer our guests, is what order. We're going to give you both. You'll get to hear a phrase, and you'll get to see the tongue thrust out. What order do you want it in?
Phrase then tongue.
Phrase and tongue. And let's give you. Patrick's going to read you the possible phrases you might get, so you know what you're up against.
Okay. You might get one of 8 phrases. Number 1. Let's go number 8 to number 1. Number 8. Ooey mooey mooey, I love yous. Number 7. Yahoo. Number 6. We doed it. Number 5. Maxi Big Da Force. Number 4. Use a Jedi or Kawazy. Number 3. Misa called Jar Jar Binks. Number 2. How wooed. And the number 1 phrase you might hear from this Hungry Hero Jar Jar, icky icky goo. Here we go.
And then raise the sound up. You remember that's the singer, not the song. So wait until you hear Jar Jar say it.
You already said it. Oh, okay. I'll do it again. Here we go. We doed it.
What?
We doed it.
We did it. I was
We did
hoping you said that.
Okay, and here we go. Here's the tongue.
See, if there was a Nangang action figure, I would want the tongue to do that.
See, that is what the tongue will. That is what the tongue will do.
Yeah. It comes a little
The
motorized.
tongue was a muscle.
What would you want a Nangang doll to say?
It would say, oh jeez. It would say,
Even up to 8 programmable phrases if you want. We can do a speed round.
it would say Nangang.
Nangang?
It would say, why don't you invite me on your podcast that I don't listen to? It would say, don't be a dirt. It would say, you're being a dirt. It would say, get off my lawn.
Mm-hmm.
It would say, adopt dogs. Don't buy them at stores, please. How many? 6?
The
Got
6.
2 left.
2 more.
It would say dismantle the Catholic Church, and it would say arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Those are good 8.
Yeah, I think that's good.
That is a Christmas seller. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
But wait, I want Nangle to confirm. You want your tongue to do that on the toy?
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah. You want someone to squeeze your belly and your tongue pops out? Because I feel like that's not an Nangle thing.
No, it's not.
That's not at all.
No, I mean I don't care what my tongue does, but don't touch my stomach. Ooh.
Yeah.
Right. See how thoughtful we're being in designing the toy. If you give us the license, you will be proud of the merch we put out.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
We're asking questions so that this is merch that you can be proud of because we want to be proud on your behalf.
You have kill rights on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So how does the tongue do the thing if you don't squeeze the stomach?
You have to politely ask, if it is in the mood to do the tongue thing.
So it's a voice activated, and we'll say we'll have it responsive, not just a phrase, but also to tone, because we don't want sarcasm factoring in, because a lot of dudes will use sarcasm.
Do you want to do the tongue thing? It's not as
no way.
You don't.
But here's the thing that I think is cool about it is that it never does the tongue thing because it's not in the mood, and it teaches you about consent and not feeling entitled to things.
Yeah.
So
good.
But we don't tell anyone that it never does the thing. That's
Sure.
the thing. Because you don't want to tell them on the box because they're expecting the tongue thing. They want to buy it so they can.
They'll all get it. They'll all get it for Christmas, and they'll like go to their friends and be like, it says it does the tongue thing. Does yours do the tongue thing?" They're like, "No, but I didn't want to tell anybody."
Right.
Yeah.
I think it says on the box, like, it definitely does the tongue thing, but you should not act as if you're entitled to the tongue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also we just saved about $1.5 million in just basic production costs. If it doesn't do the tongue thing, the price point suddenly, because we can sell it for just as much, but the cost of manufacturing it goes way down if the tongue just doesn't do the tongue thing.
Well, what if we make just one that actually does the tongue thing?
All right,
like
that's yours.
Willy
You keep
Wonka's
that.
golden ticket thing.
Yeah.
And we have the one that does the tongue thing.
Yeah.
And-
Only because there's only one that wants to. That's how you think about it.
And when it wants to.
So it's
Oh,
like
man.
We'll give that one to someone good like Keanu, you know?
Yeah.
the cat.
Yeah.
The cat, Lotto?
No,
Cat.
not the cat.
You know he didn't mean the cat.
That
Well,
cat's a
you
frisky
know it!
cat.
Yeah. Hopefully a child that sleeps where his grandparents sleep head to toe in the bed. But anyway.
Can't promise.
Can I leave?
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, remember how we started explaining to you the format of the show and then we got distracted by something else?
Yeah.
What
The
we were
format-
going to say is
Yeah.
the show is now like 6 hours every week.
Oh, okay.
That's not true. Our short shows, because we decided we didn't want to do long marathon shows every week. So our format officially,
Oh my God.
This is for the short, shortest
for the
shows.
short shows, is a format that we call the Irishman Plus. It is the length of the Irishman plus 1 minute.
I've never seen a long Irishman, if you know what I mean. Guys, I got
Thanks so much, Nangle.
Solid,
Thank you.
solid burn, solid drop.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you, Nangle.
So much.
Bye.
Bye.
So good.
Thank you.
And game for life.
And gang
Well-
for life.
Nangang for life.
Yeah, that was fun. It was nice to meet Andy. It was nice to see Nangle.
Truly two of the funniest people. I mean, you look at the best comedy of the last 10 to 15 years,
Look at
and
it.
their name is attached to
Yeah.
most of it, right?
Now, George.
Yeah.
Our guests are gone.
Our guests are gone. And
Looking around, our guests are gone.
They're
it
gone.
feels like that means that something's changed, you know. And
Yeah.
I just it
Something.
makes it makes me feel like things are a little different now, and it makes me want
the
to say,
regular. Yeah.
Patrick,
Yeah, George.
thanks.